Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today. We are going to be going over the start of the race week at Santa Anita, which is Thursday, June 12th. So Santa Anita is going to be capping off their meeting with a 4-day race week, a Thursday through Sunday schedule, with Sunday being closing day and also Father's Day. So let's get started on the Thursday card. Now, I see the Thursday card as being a feast or famine day of racing. And what I mean by that is, if you look through the program, you'll see there's a lot of short price program favorites in the races. And, several of those horses do look very live and, are very playable. And, if those come in, well, it's going to kind of be the famine, because how are you going to really make money if these short prices are winning? But, if a couple of them get beat, well, there's your feast. So that's how I look at this card on Thursday. I do like a few of the short price favorites. I don't like a few of the others. And, we'll get started here. So I've got some win bets for Thursday for you to use. You can use these win bets, or you can also use these in your multi-race wagers. We're going to start in the first race. First race has an approximate post time of 1 o'clock Pacific, so 3 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. And this is a 6-furlong grass race on the flat grass. This is a starter allowance non-winner of 3. So remember, most of the time they were running these was a non-winner of 2, but they've added a condition here to give the connections a chance to run another starter level, being a non-winner of 3. So there's a horse here who is the favorite. Program favorite. I'm going to presume he'll be the betting favorite as well. That's the 4-horse Agency from Mark Glatt. Mike Smith takes the call. Now, I've always liked Agency. I liked him when he first started his career. I thought he was going to be a really nice horse. And, something must have happened here where now he's running in starter allowance. He's running in a couple of his last races here we're going to focus in on. And, it's why I like him today. I think he's running against Lesser here and should get it done at a short price. He's 8-5. He's run some big speed figures. Smith has given him a couple good rides. He's run second to Schwarzmeyer, and he also ran second to Better Days Coming. We'll see if that Better Days Coming is going to be a live race. A horse came out of there a couple days ago who was Carver, who I'd given out. And Carver ended up winning a pretty nice race at a nice price. So that Carver comes out of that same Better Days Are Coming race, which Agency comes out of. So Agency, the 4-horse, is worth a win bet. 8-5. Oh, I would take 8-5 would be nice, but we'll see what the horse ends up going off as. What I'm looking at here is make a little win bet or so. The money you can make, you could put it into your future wagers for the day. So we'll go with the 4-horse Agency in the first race. Now I'm going to skip over the next few races, and we're going to go over to the 5th race. 5th race has approximate post time about 3:10 Pacific, so 5:10 here in the Central Time. This is a second level allowance race, and they're running a mile on the dirt. And I have a horse here that I like, should be a pretty good price, for a win bet. So, there's going to be a couple horses that are going to be taking a lot of action, that being the 1 Momad and the 2 Miramati. Those 2 horses are short prices in the program at 3-2 and 7-5 respectively, I should say. And I don't like either of those horses. I think Miramati's an inconsistent horse. He's a horse that's really been a money burner in his career. So I'm going to go against Miramati. The 1-horse Momad comes off a really big race with a big speed figure, but I'm not sure it's going to translate to this race. He did show speed that day at a mile. I think Miramati's going to show speed. If these 2 hook up, we'll see who lasts there. But I am going to play the 3-horse, who is Ultimate Gamble from Mark Glatt. Now, Glatt has some live horses today. Glatt can certainly win, several races on the card, it seems. He does have some live horses, I feel, throughout the card. So the 3-horse being Ultimate Gamble. Kazushi Kimura takes the call. Now, this horse was a $1.75 million purchase, so big purchase price. They bought this guy, several years ago. He's now a 5-year-old horse, so they haven't gelded him, so I think they still have some hope that he can end up being something, because normally a horse like this would get gelded, but I guess so much money involved, they're taking a shot here that maybe they can get this guy started. He started out his career with 1 start back in 2022, ended up running with Cave Rock, and I think Cave Rock was a Breeders' Cup winner, a Breeders' Cup juvenile winner. I think he won the Delmar Futurity. I know he was a Grade 1 winner for Baffert. And so anyway, this horse has had some breaks in his action. The next time after that Cave Rock race, he came out about 9-month layoff and ended up winning. So broke his maiden, at a 2-turn distance, which shows you this horse could run when they can keep him together. He's like I said, he's had a lot of breaks in his action. So apparently, it's tough to get this guy ready for the races. But let's focus in on this year. He has had one race this year. He ran in a sprint race back in early May. Ended up running in a tough sprint, I thought. Won by Judge Miller. Judge Miller is another very promising horse, accomplished horse. He's won a few races in the circuit. And that was sprinting at 6.5 furlongs. Now, this horse, I felt like just got a run around the track. Kimura rode him that day, got a chance to know him. I think going a mile is definitely better, for this guy. His 2 wins in his career both have been at a mile, and both have been at Santa Anita. So he certainly likes the track, likes the configuration, likes the mile distance. 4-1. I'm going to make a win bet on Ultimate Gamble in the 5th race. All right, now let's move over to the 7th race of the day. 7th race, there's a mile on the grass, and there's a condition allowance race. And what this condition is, what it reads is horses based in Northern California, and then it has your usual allowance conditions. But what's really confused me, and I looked into this to see what did I miss here, is I don't know how the 4, Cornelia Fort, qualifies for this race. She hadn't run in Northern California, and she's ran through this condition, so I'm not too sure how she qualifies, but she's 7-5 and gets Umberto Rispoli on her. I think that she just fits here like a glove and is probably over, these other horses are overmatched against her. She's run a couple nice races in her last 2, running up against, some better horses. She got claimed out of her May 2nd race. Andy Mathis claimed a horse off of Ian Kruljack, and it was a 2nd place finish where she was a favorite, had a little trouble, probably could have won, but she finished up nicely. And Mathis thought so much of her, he put her in the Franz Valentine, and she ended up running up against some tough horses, and I thought she ran a really good race. I didn't have her then, I didn't like her that day, she was 11-1, but she ran up against Sneaker, who was very tough that day, and she ended up beating Prancing Through Paris, who Prancing Through Paris has been one of the nice Calbred stories of this Santa Anita meeting this year. So Cornelia Fort, drops into this spot here, this condition allowance race, facing much softer. She's 7-5. As I mentioned, she'll be a short price, but worth a win bet. So we'll move on from there. Let's move on to the 8th race. Now I've got a better one here that I want to make a win bet on, and this is the 8th race. This is a maiden special weight race, California bred, and it's 6 furlongs on the dirt, and these are fillies, 3-year-olds and up. And I do have a price here that I'm going to give out here, and I'm going to make a win bet here on the 8 horse. 8 horse being Timekeeper's Charm. Timekeeper's Charm's trained by Steve Knapp. Tiago Pereira takes the call, and she's 15-1 in the program. And, I'm going to expect that she'll be a pretty high price. A couple of short prices in this race. The 5 Darlin Tammy, I'm not a fan of that horse. I think she's just kind of a 2nd and 3rd type of horse. Don't think she's a winner at this level. A couple other short prices, some horses that have had some nice works, first starters. But I'm going to give this 8 horse here, Timekeeper's Charm, a bet here. This horse is by Not This Time, who you don't see Not This Time horses as Calbred. So they really went all out in breeding this horse, going over to Not This Time. Not This Time has a $175,000 stud fee, and has been probably one of the most popular sires, probably next to Into Mischief. It's probably next to Into Mischief as far as most popular sire in the States. So, they sent this horse, their mare, over there and ended up getting, the Timekeeper's Charm out of it. So this horse has run twice, and she's run twice this year at Santa Anita. First was a grass race. Her common thing in the 2 starts is that she hasn't gotten out of the gate that well. She's given herself a whole lot to do. So that first start, she got out slowly on the turf, and there was a 6 furlong grass race. And I thought she ran a couple races in that race. Got off slow, ended up making a nice move, backed off, and came back again. So it was like, oh man, this horse is just really learning how to run. She's a big baby, even at a 3-year-old. So they put her out next time at 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. Same, condition, maiden special weight. Again, she didn't get out too well. So, gave herself way too much to do. And I just thought she ran an even race. Here's why I'm giving her a shot here. She's had a couple gate works since those races, and they've been nice gate works. So they've been, I figure Steve Knapp is, working with her at the gate, trying to get her more ready, more, involved at that starting gate. And those 2 gate works that she's had have been really nicely. And I just think that this horse does have some definite running ability and maybe can run up to this breeding, that she has. So I'm going to make a win bet on Timekeeper's Charm, being the 8 horse in the 8th race. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the bets. Okay, so for Santa Anita's Thursday card, we've got 4 win bets to make throughout the day. Starting out in the first race, going to make a win bet on the 4 horse, Agency. Go to the 5th race, the 3 horse, Ultimate Gamble. The 7th race, the 4 horse, Cornelia Fort. And then in the 8th race, the 8 horse, Timekeeper's Charm. So those are 4 win bets that I'm going to make. If you want to bet these horses as is, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to take these selections, add them into your multi-race wagers. Some of them are included in the late pick 5, the turf pick 3, the late pick 3. Those are all nice bets. Whatever you decide to do, I wish you the best of luck on Thursday. Let's wish the folks over at Santa Anita a very safe day of racing to start off their weekend. Let's wish ourselves some good trips and maybe get some good results to start off that Thursday card at Santa Anita. So as always, I thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. We've had several new subscribers lately. Very much appreciate you. If you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just like a free delivery for you. It delivers the content when it gets served up, gets created, gets served up to you. You can like, dislike, make comments. I promise to respond to everybody, and let's create a discussion. So again, thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today. Let's get this week started at the Great Race Place in a winning way. Thank you.